Hello, Twitterati! How are you guys doing out there? I have no idea how the hell this is going to come out. So, yeah, we're going to try this out. The entire idea of this little video is me just practicing in front of a video camera in the first place because God knows I don't know how to speak to. I'm speaking to a little black lens right there. It's like I can't even see nobody. It's such a weird thing, really, when you have to wrap your head around the fact that you're talking to nothing. Like I'm talking to nothing. Like, yes, I know. Oh, some of you will see this video. Some of you will be like, Jerel, what the fuck you doing? But I'm going to just sit here and I'm just like... It's like a lot of times when I try to do my podcast or anything, I put like a little stuffed animal up there or something. And I try to talk about topics that interest me because I have a very deep and focused interests. That's the entire point I started writing this novel, or A Land Called Paradise. And I don't know what to say. I feel that we live in a world where if you do not express yourself, if you do not speak out, then it just won't come to nothing. So I've taken on to the effort of trying to build things for myself and for my family to build upon. It's not like I had much from the get-go. Oh, I've had some luck. I've had a lot of misfortune too. And it's just one of those things that I've been willing to take more hard risks than other people. And those risks sometimes weren't worth it. And sometimes they were. And it's just like rolling dice, man. You just get in that groove and you're sitting there and you're just playing with them and you just don't know what. So I finished writing A Land Called Paradise in about a year's time, and I've been stuck in editing hell. Well, I don't really have money to pay for a proper editor, so I've been just sourcing it out to a bunch of authors, having them proofread it, and send me back their beta. Send me back their, not their betas, but their advice, their recommendations. They've all have several books published, so I figured their recommendations will help me figure out what's going on with my book and how to construct it. But I'm not sure that's the most viable way to really go about writing a book. Same time, I see other people come on here, okay? Other people come onto Twitter and they say we gotta put up, I don't know, a couple hundred or a couple $1,000 in order to get your book published, and I'm just like, it doesn't sound right. Like, why should we have to pay so much and then receive so little in return? The whole point of trying to become an author is trying to help not only share your ideas, but to build something for yourself. It should not just be a vanity project. You are trying to create something that will hold meaning for hopefully hundreds of years at a time. And I just look at it, man. I see the people online and I'm like, you guys are going about it the wrong way. Hey, now this isn't a criticism of people who are going about it in their own ways. Perhaps it's proven. Perhaps it's a nice track record, but I just come at it and I feel so foreign to the space. Like a good example is this. You go on YouTube, okay, and you try to find authors, right? People who are writing, people who are trying to get their ideas on the paper, and you just can't find people like me on there. You just don't see it. You don't see them at all. And maybe it's because the same issue I kind of have. I don't really have a great performance value for the camera, per se. And a lot of that has to go down to the fact I can't afford the luxuries that some of these professionals have. They have these state-of-the-art cameras. They have these wonderful setups. They got better hair. They got like a nicer home and everything, and they can record somewhere other than just their car. Or, hell, their car's not even a beat-up Jeep like this. And at the same time, I see these people and their concerns and the subject matter they're writing about is so divorced from the reality that I live, the reality that I see around me. Now, I know the lighting's making my eyes look red, and it's 2 a.m. in the morning, almost 3 a.m. now. I've just been trying to push through to get this video done. I've probably recorded this thing 15, 20 times, and I couldn't figure out how to convey my ideas. And it really comes down to that fact, man, that while I have no problem talking and I have no problem with speaking to a person in front of me, when it comes to discussing things to technology, discussing things like this, recording my thoughts for posterity in a verbal, visual form, I tend to dislike the way I look. I dislike the way I speak. It doesn't flow right. That's part of the appeal of me becoming an author in the first place. I like to record my thoughts down and try to elevate them. But also, man, it's like, what is with the subject matter people are writing about? I look at some of the subjects people are writing about, and I hate to tell you, man, but it's completely banal to me. It's so abstracted from my personal worldview. Now, I know not many people are going to watch this, and the ones who are probably going to ridicule me and say I'm being too self-centered, too stuck up, too grandiose, ill-biased, the philosophy. But that's beside the point. The point is, I'm trying. I'm trying something new. I'm trying every day to get something closer. Now, I've tried to run a YouTube channel for over 10 years, but I didn't really try. Let's be honest. I was an uninspired hack, okay? I saw what everybody else was doing, and I was like, well, let me try it too. And I did it in the most half-assed way possible. Well, most of you would have never seen these videos. I've already had them privated and such, where I used to have this camcorder, you know, the big kind that you hold up like this. And I was trying to film like a record of my town. I had this idea, and this was before Google Maps was really picking up with the street view thing, that I could just walk around my small hometown and record it, because there's so many small towns across America that people ignore. And when people ignore these small towns, all the young people leave, which make them die. And I always thought, what a shame this is. These places have amazing architecture, amazing history, and nobody is taking the time to pay attention to it. Now, many of you on here might know me as this very outspoken critic of some things, or maybe I like to get on there and laugh and throw around some memes and some jokes. And cowlick, come on, stay down. There we go. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. I can't do this video format thing, not very well. It's going to take me practice and repetition, and I'm just going to upload this and see how it goes. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the space for writers shouldn't just be this polaric divide. There's room for people of multiple lived experiences, people of multiple political points of view. There's room for everyone. And there's room for us all to talk about our writing. But you know, that's one thing I don't really see on the writing Twitter. I rarely see people talking about writing. Like, when's the last time you saw a word count post? I used to do that, okay? When I first got on there, I'd be like, I wrote so-and-so amount of words today. I wrote so-and-so amount of words today. But nobody ever reacted to them, so I stopped. I felt like what's the point? I mean, it's not like we're all in this together to finish our books and get this done. It's just everybody is a outspoken island upon themselves, and they're trying to gather as many people below them. And I don't like it. I don't like it. We're people at the end of the day. And the fact of the matter is, I want so many things. We all want so many things. That's a generalized statement. But how are we going to accomplish them? How can we talk about prose? Can we talk about ideas? Like, what ideas are you writing? And what, you think people are going to steal your ideas? What if they do? Their writing style is completely different from you. It's not going to matter. It does not matter in the slightest. I see people spreading fear and running all these things claiming that the computers are coming for us. They've been telling us in the working class that for the last 20 years. And you know what? They're right. What you gonna do about it? Complain? What the fuck does that do for anybody? Pardon my language. I'm just trying to find a good way to express myself in this type of space. And I'm not exactly the most eloquent person on camera because I don't know quite precisely what I'm doing. I don't really have the resources to be doing what I'm doing. And I'm just trying my hardest. Now, I'll cap this off and talk about a book I've been reading lately. Some of you who have been following my Twitter feed may have seen in that I've been reading the book Hyperion. And this book right here. Hyperion is a fantastic read, I gotta say, man. And that being said, he kind of commits a cardinal sin, I find, in writing where he... If you've ever read the Canterbury Tales, it's like a group of travelers sharing their stories on a journey, right? That's exactly what Hyperion's doing, but he keeps changing genre. For a science fiction novel, when you swap genre entirely and you tell like a small enclosed self-story, you do run the risk of throwing a person out of the story. Now, I personally love the book. There's all kinds of various topics. I have not reached the ending, as you can tell. Well, I have this lovely bookmark right here, which is it. Here, I can show you this. As this is one of the bookmarks I'm very fond of. I like this one very much. I got this a while back. And I'm just kind of blown away by the content of this book, man. And it is outstanding. It is just... yeah. And I want to do a full write-up and a full... maybe even I'll try to write up a script or something that I can read off of and tell you my thoughts on it once I'm done. Because I have a lot to say about Kassad's story and like when using eroticism in a novel goes too far. I have a lot of ideas on the Preacher story. Where he literally... he becomes... where it's not him, but it's his friend that he's relating the story of. So it's now already a first person relating a second person's account, a third party's account, sorry. The tenses always toss me off. There's also another dark part that I would like to write about the story of the Jewish professor in the story and him discussing the Abraham issue, which to those of you who don't really care about Bible and such, is so not so much a biblical story as much as a philosophy question. Like, how much loyalty must a man dedicate in order to offer such? And that's the kind of thing you're going to see with me, man. And my mind moves from topic to topic like a spider thread. I keep bouncing off and back and forth, and I keep trying to find new ideas. Like in my own novel, A Land Called Paradise, which I'm currently editing. I'm on like page 45 or 46 of like the full sheet letter page edited out of 120 pages. It's coming along slowly when I have time. It's a little hard. I have 2 jobs. I have a daughter. I have a wife. I got a home I got to pay for, and I got to keep everything kind of floating. And the writing is not paying me off yet. It may in the future. I don't know. We will see. But I also have but what was I going on about? Yeah. So in that book, I was kind of going through this entire conception of like what is reality, mimetic limitation, mimetic reality and such. And I would like to make a video on that as well. I guess this is just kind of me saying, throwing out some ideas I want to explore more in like this type of chat format. And kind of just get started doing something, man. Because right now, all I've been doing is I've been typing. I've been coming up with rules for games that I want to prototype in the future and try to get released. I've written up an entire rule set for a role-playing game, but that all I need to do now is write up the write up the items, enemy list, etc. The rules are already done. But the actual things that make the game work, like the nuts and bolts, like all the things that people can use as stickers and tag onto it. Like, let's say the stat block for a goblin, for example, I need to write that up. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that I don't have many people around me at this point in my life who share my interests outside of online. I'm kind of stuck in this isolated place because the circles in which I work, they are... I don't want to say they've given up, but they've given up, man. They are not looking for a future. They're waiting to play the next video game that comes out. They want to see the next Marvel movie that comes out, and I'm just like, where's that promise of victory? Where's that hope and glory that something is ahead? Where's that drive to build something? And it drives me mad, man. And like, for example, I got my realtor's license a little while ago, okay? And like over 2 years ago. And at first, I started up and I tried door knocking. Then I found out there's laws against door knocking in Tennessee. That you got to go get a solicitor's license. Well, I'm already paying $1,200 a month, $1,200 a year for my overhead. How can I afford to pay for another $1,000 solicitor's license? It's a game that requires too much money for me even to play. And then I was going to try the texting method, but then lo and behold, that got banned too. So it's like the entire business is a closed window, and everybody I spoke to already told me they already had somebody else. So it's like, so I put my license on hold, and I just kept working overnight and writing and building these things in the daytime. But it's so easy to get discouraged, man. It is. This world is like a zero-sum game if you don't have a credential. And all my credentials are good enough for is that if I wanted to go and become a police officer, I can do that instantly. They'd probably give me 2 promotions. Catch to that, of course, being that I don't want to be a cop. I've already seen enough hurt people in my life. I'm tired of it. I don't want no part of it. So I'm trying to do something new. I'm trying to go back in the creative direction I wanted to go to in the first place. And it's hard, man. It's just hard. And it's hard for me to express that. It's hard for me to explain it. It's hard for me to sit here and try to narrate this to you. A lot of times what will happen with these type of videos is I will, well, not videos per se, I normally record audio podcasts. I make like a bunch of private logs for myself, and I'll go through and I will delete them because I will say this is not a satisfactory quality. This is not what people want to hear. They don't want to hear somebody who is looking at the world with both hope and pessimism in equal hand. And yet that's where I'm at. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? I go through and I read all the great philosophers, and they don't have answers for my issues now. No, they didn't really have solutions for the answers that they had back then. And they had proposed solutions that they could not enact. And that's the kind of issue I have. Are there solutions? Yes. Are they functional? I'm not so sure about that. So, in my mind, the only thing I can do is sit here, build, and make things to share with all of you. To try to craft my art one hammer swing at a time, because I don't want to end up broken. I don't want to end up like the people I see in there, or the people I work with. It's grim. It's not what I want. They don't read. They don't do anything outside of their regular circle, and I'm trying to make them understand, and they don't understand what I'm saying. It's like and it's really difficult in some ways because, I went and I lived overseas for 3.5 years there, and when I came back, so much had changed in my homeland that it's not the same. And then things progressively just seem to get worse, culturally, even with the people, where they became more distant and more harsh towards each other. The once friendly smiles faded, and now people look at each other with distrust, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. But Regardless, this is just going to be my first little video on here. I don't even know if Twitter can take this. Maybe I'll just have to upload it to my YouTube and then try to link it back here and see what happens. But yeah, this is Jerel Rogers. I'm trying real hard to see what can I make. What can I do with the limited ability and limited funds I have? I think it is up to all of us to try to put all of our efforts in the maximum way that tries to build something, to try to create something that becomes more solid. And so yeah, man, that's the video. I'm gonna sign off. Take care.